I think this hand's good enough to keep. Oh, he changed to the white deck. Let's see if this here Pummeler is as good as advertised versus the white deck. His planes, by the way, are rocking. I love those. Let's go, says the Voltaic Brawler. Hello, Corey, coolest of cats. May should have blocked there. Not entirely sure. Aspidania. Yes. Go speed Voltaic Brawler. Have a Harness Lightning to get this guy back so I'm not worrying about leaving up Blossoming Defense mana. And that's the main reason I did it that way. Well, showed me. You turned me up, son. We are attacking for like lots of damages. They only play 2 cast outs, so I don't think it's worth taking a turn off to play the cast out. Especially when it slows them down the entire turn. Between our Blossoming Defense and our Harness Lightnings, we probably have enough sufficient tricks that we ain't even going to have to try to Gimp the man. Archangel Avacyn's obviously insanely good now. I don't even know what to do versus an Archangel Avacyn. I guess I just commit more to the board? Like, I can save both those guys from it? Wait till we get, I think it's called Improvised Rampager, maybe? I don't know what the card's called. What are you called? Wait till we get an Invigorated Rampage. Yeah, I wasn't even close on what the name of that card was. Was not close to close, fam. Yeah, could be good. That's definitely not what we wanted. He can only kill one of my things, and he can't even kill it if we don't let him, so I'm not really worried about him having an Archangel. Now that can attack with 2, we're going to get some number of damages through on him. And him having an Archangel is not necessarily bad for me. Alright, well he just didn't have an Archangel, so that's absolutely absurd for me. So we'll see how he blocks. Sure. Hopefully he's not playing a version with Dusk. If he is, I'm not particularly worried about it. We'll still have some number of threats. That's a monument. That's a fire grave. Probably going to save whatever he targets with the blossoming defense. Just to get another attacker next turn. Probably should have played the Servant of Conduit pre-combat. Yeah, they're nice little abysses. He's got to have a dusk or they just go crazy. Every night. So we're going to assume it's right just to kill all of his things. Pay to deal an extra damage if I do it this. Kill this one. Pump this thing twice. Let's look at our deck list to see if we're going to give it a random third point of damage. Oh, we have flings. So definitely going to give it a third point of damage because this little servant and a fling can win a game. Could have done it anyway, to be honest, but... So he's going to try to amass a giant board right now. I forgot to play the servant. I've already made a play mistake. There's just no reason for me not to play this servant. Like, he still has to jump through enough hurdles that I think me not playing the servant didn't matter. Well, that was cute. So Glorybringers are probably good even though he's on the Avacyn build. I don't think these are particularly good. I don't think these are good. Manglehorns are probably definitely some number of good. Trackers may be good. Chandras may be good on the play, but probably not on the draw. So these are the cards that I would consider. Is there anything I want to cut? What is this? This is sorcery speed, give trample. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of any of the trample spells. I guess I'm just going to get rid of blossoming defenses? That seems horrible, but he's playing a mini Wrath of God deck. I guess some Glorybringers are going to come in and some Hydras are going to go out on the draw. The Manglehorns are definitely coming in. That is a May, right? Enters, you may destroy target artifact. Nice. Shave one of those. Probably want these two. I guess I'm going to cut these things because I'm on the draw and I don't think they're as important on the draw. I think Pummeler's is... I think this deck and Pummeler is... Hello, Vladimir. Pummeler's the reason I'm playing this deck because I think Pummeler's insane versus the mono white deck. It's the reason I want to try this deck. Like, I think it's possible to get enough energy and just play a Pummeler and attack them for like 40 with trample and win the game. And it doesn't die to dusk. Like, it survives the dusk. Now, I'm not saying I'm right. I could be very much wrong, but that's the reason I'm trying the deck anyway. That's my thought process with trying the deck. I gotta show it to him. care. Probably shouldn't have, but he might play around a magma spray or something now, which is unlikely. Unlikely for him to play around it, I mean. Not unlikely for him to have it or whatever. Okay. You got a dude. We got a dude. I don't have a removal spell this game, so I'm pretty sure I'm just going to block here. I don't want to get 2 for 1 and stuff as well, so. I'm brand new to MTG and going to an event at my local store tomorrow. My welcome back has 30 cards and I need 60. If I buy booster packs, I'll have cards I can't play because I don't have the right mana color. Any MTG experience device? Cool game, by the way. Well, manas should be extremely cheap. I mean, that's probably not a giant issue, is it? The intro decks are pretty nice too. They give you playable decks. I mean, they're not great decks, don't get me wrong. People who have a lot of money are going to have a better chance. But like they have, they're pretty reasonable. A guy at our local store and his daughter played them this week, and they seem to have a lot of fun. They didn't win a lot, but winning's not everything. You can have a lot of fun and not win, and vice versa. You can win a lot and not have much fun. Destroy all creatures of power 3 or greater. Alright, you got him. So, just ask them on Facebook waiting for an answer. So anyway, this is the reason that I have the Pummeler in the deck and the reason I wanted to try this deck. So we just go ahead and throw a little Blossoming Defense on him. Throw a little Blossoming Defense on him. Give him +4/+0. And trample. Then turn him into an 18/18, then turn him into a 36/36. But this is the entire reason I want to play this deck. I think this card is similar to Ronus in a manner that this card is just absolutely absurd versus these mono white decks. That's the whole reason I want to try this deck. Well, keep in mind, Corey, that he said he's a brand new player, so like, he's not going to know what singles he wants to buy and stuff like that. It's probably, if you're a new player, it's probably better just to get one of the new Planeswalker decks and just build upon it. The game's wonderful. This game costs a lot of money. Keep that in mind, but it's a wonderful, fun game. All of my close friends I've made through this Magic, I've played it since 1993. Like, the game's actually brought me a lot in my life. It's brought me a lot of close friends, a lot of good times. It's probably kept me out of getting in a lot of trouble, etc. I can't recommend this game more to anybody who's is into these moderately strategy type games. Thank you for the follow. Oh my god, it's Kalia. Oh my god, it's Kalia. Yeah, I got your name. I can read. Don't you think I can't? I can read. Oh, well, yeah. Singles are always more efficient than buying packs, but like a new player can have no idea. This deck that I'm playing here is not particularly expensive, and it's really fun. I don't know how good it is. It's not expensive and it's fun. I really want to get somebody of this. By the way, this is one of the first times in a long, long time that I have intentionally got the new art of something instead of the old art. But anyway, I'll keep. Because keeping's great. Show them this nice little forest. A tune here. Go grab us a mountain. Pass turn. So they know we have both of these. This is one of the matches I didn't really want to play versus. We drew the second fling in a match that I don't want the first fling. It's a match that I don't want the first fling, and I drew the second fling. That's always awkward and funny. Alright, well. We have 18 more lands in the deck, and we get to play Magic if we draw one. Sorry, we have 19 more lands in the deck, and we get to play Magic if we draw one. Oh, you're watching my YouTube videos? I appreciate it. The one that's going up tonight's not particularly good to watch. I apologize for it in advance if you ever watch it. The one tonight, we had multiple opponents basically timing out. Had a bit of an argument in the stream with a viewer. Just had a lot of dead air because there wasn't really much to talk about. Where we had like two opponents basically run out of time, and then we had two non-interactive games where the games were like fairly close, and then the opponents just scooped. And I'm still not even sure why they just scooped, but they did. So. But I appreciate that you watch the videos. At some point, I'm gonna get an overlay and try to make it a little bit prettier, and I might actually put some videos up of not the live stream, just the stuff up. My opponent's looking like he has a bit of everything. Oh, nice. No, this is my real voice. Somebody in chat said I sounded like Matthew McConaughey the other day, but I don't hear it at all. Well, if I draw an untapped land and he blocks poorly, we can win. And it will be the greatest thing in the world. Technically, if he just blocks poorly, we can win untapped land or not. It would be absolutely wonderful if that happens. You don't know how giddy I'll get. Alright, so it's a Winding Constrictor. Things get a lot bigger now. Doesn't have Delirium, so we don't have to worry about Slaughter the Pact or anything. What's this, a Walking Ballista? Software voices uses. Oh, no. No, sorry. Really? You're going to use a walking? You're going to do a 1 damage to that. Okay. I don't know what our opponent's planning here. I guess he's got a bunch of removal spells? Alright, well, we'll pump our guy one. I don't really know what happened here unless he has a 2 to slaughter. And if he has a 2 to slaughter, he should have just hit me with the, he should have just hit me with the... Alright, well, if he doesn't block, he's dead, I guess? We didn't hit the untapped land, and I've not done the math, but I don't think it's enough if he blocks. So this will go to 5, 7, 11, 22. Yeah, it's not enough. If he blocks, it's not enough. Five, 9, 10, 11. Not enough if he blocks. So if he blocks, we just kill the Winding Constrictor and go on about our lives. Oh, shoot, he didn't block. So we pump this guy. Pump this guy again. Give him +4/+0. And trample. Opponent takes 11. Choose target creature or player. Red, sack. And And there has been a fling, boys and girls. Alright, I don't think this deck is good, but I'm absolutely in love with it. All of our cards have killed somebody so far. Yeah, I am a big fan of this deck. We'll bring in the Glory Bringers, bring in the Harness Lightnings. The Pummelers probably aren't as good in this match. At least on the draw. The Trackers are probably better on the draw. We probably get rid of some of these top spells if we're getting rid of the Pummeler. What do we got here? Let's look at all these pump spells. If we're cutting Pummeler, we may not want all these pump spells. I don't know that I'm cutting Pummeler, by the way, I'm thinking. Yeah. Like the Pummeler's straight to the sideboard. I'm just trying to figure out what else I would want then. So Flings can technically steal close games. The Rampagers, I think, are better than those. Question is, do I want these? I can bring in the Manglehorns as well. I think I'm just going to cut off 6 of these and bring in the Manglehorns as well. At least on the draw. Manglehorns can kill Walking Ballistas and they can kill the Verdant, the Verdus Gearhulk, and they can kill Skyboats. I concur. I think our opponent is not going to lose the Fling again. The hand's not particularly good, but I think it is a keep. There's only 4 removal spells in our deck, so we can't really mulligan to a removal spell. Champagne and Ronus and side 1, 2. That's potential. This copy is just the straight net deck of the 5-0 deck, the recent 5-0 list. Like this isn't my brew or anything. This is BS White's brew. I've got a pretty decent amount of respect for that guy, but like I don't know that this was a tested list or anything by him. He could have just been screwing around, having some fun, you know, being up to no good, causing trouble in his neighborhood, things of that nature. Grab us a little green skis. So we're probably going to try to Chandra and to kill anything that's in play. Definitely going to try to Chandra and kill that, especially if the land comes in play untapped. Could get got pretty hard if it's a blossoming defense. So I'm just going to get this into play while I can. Probably willing to trade even. Don't know that I'm willing to trade, but I'm probably willing to trade. I assume he's going to have a bunch of Verdus Gearhulks and stuff. What are we doing here? Alright, we're sacking a clue. Well, that's good for me. Means he didn't have much in his hand at the time. A Grimflare? Alright, that's pretty good. Well, we're going to hope that he doesn't have a... Do I just play another Abyss? Abysses are pretty solid cards. Yeah, I'm going to attack and see what he does. I'll probably just play the other Abyss. I can save my guy with a Blossoming Defense if I choose to. So this thing does 4. It just takes 1 Blossoming Defense to save my guy. I'm just going to play the Blossoming Defense and be done with it. I'm going to cast another Abyss. Yeah, I think Ronus is really good. The Pummeler is the same principle of the Ronus, but I think an additional Ronus might be great. This build only has one Glorybringer though, so it doesn't have a whole lot of creatures to get the Ronus attacking. But the Ronus giving trample by itself is just relevant. So double Bristling Hydra, triple Bristling Hydra are all things that are pretty hard for him to beat. They're not impossible. What does he got here? Double green. What's he playing for double green? Oh, okay, a Walking Ballista. That's fine. Yeah, so we're going to bring some Glory next turn. Surprisingly, I'm probably going to kill this guy because of Virtus. That block blows my mind. So I'll just go ahead and pay. Alright, opponent isn't a particularly good player, I don't think. Or he knows something about his hand that I don't. Not exactly sure which. I do know we're bringing Glory, though. Glory! Yeah, he always got to get Glorious. I don't think the black green deck can come back from this board spot, especially if the Chandra in our hand. Because with the Chandra in our hand, we have two currently lethal threats on the table. Especially if he taps all of his lands. Alright, so this is a 5 mana for a Verdus Gearhulk. Finally. If it's a Skyboat, we win. If it's a Gearhulk, if it's a Gearhulk, our attacks get kind of interesting. Oh, if it's just a Walking Ballista, that's not real good for him either. So yeah, it's just a Walking Ballista, so that means unless he has a Blossoming Defense, we win. So let's go ahead and see if he has the Blossoming Defense. Alright, he says he has to kill this thing anyway. So I'll go ahead and pay one. Tap this for mana. I'm not going to minus on this because if I minus... Oh, shoot. Sorry. I talked myself out of killing my opponent because I'm stupid. I was trying to protect my Chandra, but I'm playing around Blossoming Defense like this. Okay. Dealing a damage to my thing doesn't matter. I could have went for the kill. I could have used the Chandra on this and just attacked with both. But if he had a Blossoming Defense, it wasn't the kill, and I lose the Chandra. And I don't think he can beat the board, so I think there's no reason to be greedy. It's fine just to put the Chandra down and put another Bristling Hydra on the table. So he's going to block here. He's going to do 1, 2, 3 damage to my guy. So I'm just going to make my guy 4. Sure. I'm just going to make my guy 4. So opponent's going to go to 2 with an active Chandra and 4 lethal threats on the table. I don't think there's a way out of this for him. If he didn't have Blossoming Defense, I could have punted last turn. Well, I guess it ain't a punt. It's better to play around it. I think it's better to play around it either way, even though it looked a little awkward. Like, I gave him an extra draw step, but I gave him an extra draw step in that type of board state from a black-green deck. I don't think it matters. This deck's gas. I am, I am having. Getting to kill somebody with a pummeler and getting to kill somebody with a fling, my day is definitely. I've got a smile on my face. The stream from earlier tonight wasn't particularly good because of all of the downtime, all of the opponents not like timing out and double queuing, the small argument in stream, etc. But no, I'm pretty gassed right now. I can lose the next 3 rounds and not be too upset as long as I don't get completely man screwed all 3 rounds or whatever. Like I want to play Magic, but I'm not going to be upset if I lose and we actually play. For anybody that's new here, thanks for showing up and watching me. I post on Twitter anytime I go live. I post all of my videos from the stream to YouTube, so you can find them whenever, if you care at all, or if you're interested in one of the decks. I'm kind of testing for a PPTQ this week, a modern one. So I've not really been trying too many things on Moto, but ours gets released tomorrow, so maybe not this week, but at least the following week I'll probably be trying a lot of new decks with ours in them. I think this hand's fine. It's obviously not great, but I'm not upset to have any of these cards in my hand. And depending on what he's playing, we might get the Pummeler down. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. Or sorry, don't you dare get near my Facebook. Follow me on Twitter or follow me here if you want. Just keep away from my Facebook. That's dedicated to pornographies. I'm going to imagine that playing versus Mardu is an exceptionally hard match for me. Hope our opponent, actually kind of hope our opponent kills our servant, or I hope that we draw a... I don't play Modern, that's the thing. I know very, very little about Modern, so I'm basically having to test Modern from the ground up with no knowledge of it. The 3 decks I'm looking at for the PPTQ with my limited Modern experience, I'm looking at potentially trying Grixis Shadow if I feel like I'm able to learn it. I don't know if I feel like I'll be able to. I'm also looking at the blue-white control deck that Billy plays on Moto because it absolutely goes crazy. For a deck list, Ducat got top 8 of the challenge with it this week. And he sideboards a little bit differently. I wouldn't take Grixis Shadow to like a Grand Prix, but this is going to be a very, very small Pro Tour qualifier with somewhere between 20 and 30 players, and I do not think there will be many cards specifically designed. I don't think there'll be many Mirror Crusaders. I don't think there'll be many X-Champions, etc. But yeah, that's my fear. I don't think I will personally be good enough to play it. We'll find out. But I don't think I'll personally be good enough to play it. The third deck I'm considering, and my most likely option is playing Counter Coco. I don't think Counter Coco's particularly hard, and I think it'll be at least average in that room. I actually want to play Smallpox in that room, but I don't have access to the cards, which is an issue. So, opponents at 24 life. This goes to 1, 3, 7, 14, 28. So, opponent's dead. Give it +4/+4 and trample. Make it a 7/7. Make it a 14/14. Make it a 28/28. No, I completely agree with you. A lot of people are telling me just to play it anyway. But I don't think I should. I am going to try it, though. When I'm able to buy Claiming Thames tomorrow, there's a good chance I'm going to borrow the deck on Moto and just jam games. But I'll probably jam them off stream because I want to focus more on trying to learn the deck than talking. I don't think the Counters Coco deck is as much of a toolbox as the older decks, but I have a lot of previous knowledge playing Birthing Pod decks when they were standard legal, Birthing Pod decks before it got banned, and Cord decks from back in those standards. So, like, I have more of a foothold into Coco. And I played the Coco build in a small local tournament for a Tarmogoyf like 2 weeks ago to test it, and it felt pretty natural. I felt like it was pretty easy for me to grasp. I don't know if it will be or isn't or any of that stuff, but I'm just saying, from my very limited sample size, it felt like something that I would be able to play. I don't think I want any of this spot removal versus him. He's going to get his thing or he's not going to get his thing, and then I'm going to try to hit him for like a million with this. If potential, but Glorybringer still flies, the main reason I brought it in. Like, just attacking for 4 every turn's relevant. This hand doesn't seem particularly good versus them, but he's on a mulligan, and I'm actually curious what this deck's capable of, so I'm going to keep at a very, very least hand. I don't think I even have cards to. I don't think I even have access to the cards for that deck. Black White Pox is what I really want to play. I want to play Jabber's deck because, well, one, I have a man crush on Jabber, but two, just for that particular room, I think it's going to be soft to what Pox is capable of. Anyway, don't think the room itself is going to be that soft, but I think it'll be soft compared to Pox. Yeah. So I'm just gonna hope to get this Pummeler out here and hope that he doesn't have a removal spell. If he doesn't have a removal spell, this Pummeler's gonna do a whole lot of damage. But yeah, I'm going to spend probably most of this week. I'm probably not going to stream as much this week, maybe 1 or 2 events a day or something, but I'm going to spend a good portion of this week trying to. Hopefully he doesn't have Fatal Push. Trying to just learn Modern in some manner. If he doesn't have Fatal Push and he taps out, we probably win. If he does have Fatal Push, we probably lose. But, like, I can draw another Pummeler. He doesn't have to have the Fatal Push, and I don't think it's... When I have nothing else going on, I don't think I'm supposed to sit back and wait. Because there's don't have a high chance of drawing the Blossoming Defense and stuff. Well, clearly getting punished. So if he doesn't get to Westvale, we might be able to just rate. I expect to see 1 or 2 decks of about everything, but I don't expect to see a lot of decks of anything. Well, if he doesn't play a land, I'm probably just going to attack him for 4. What are you, friend? Create a 1/1 colorless sacrifice. Okay, not worried about that. Right, so the plan here is to just jam a Glorybringer and attack him for 4 in the air. Wonderful plan, right? Not going to exert, just going to do 4 damage. Glory! And depending on what he does next turn, we have a potential 16. All depends on what he does. So that doesn't affect anything too much. Gotta go for the kill though. Like, he'll be able to Westvale the following turn, so if I'm able to go for the kill, I'm going to go for the kill. Angel of Sanctums, that's probably enough to beat me. Especially if he has the land to flash it back. As of right now, we still have some live draws, I guess. Alright. Live draws. Uh, I'm not even sure who you are, Bengal Bivy. Who are you? Are you somebody I know? Rip! Alright, well that's game, folks. He drew to land for the West Vale, so we have no out. That deck was offensive to me when I looked at it. Alright, well, he looks like he's not making a West Vale, so we have some out then? He's going to have 4 blockers, so if we draw another pump spell, it's enough. So we can do... I don't know, just a bunch. Not enough to win, I guess. And we're dead on board, so we might as well see. The fat man that loves me. Man, I have so many fat friends, that's hard to figure out. Sure, I'll give it trample. If he only blocks it with 1, we can win. If he blocks it with all 4, we have no out. Alright, so no out. Could have just made a West Vale and definitely won, but this works too. Yep, just dead. It doesn't do anything. I'm at 3 life. He still has 4 attackers. So I don't want to show him the fling. He might have thought I sideboarded it out or something. I'm still dead. I thought about like just making it and flinging it this, and then Glorybringer and attacking, but I was still dead to that even. That card would have been enough even for what he showed us. Alright, so he brought in Angels of Sanctum. I don't think I care. I think my plan's still just the same. Just try to get him with something. Don't think I want the Harness Lightnings. Yeah, we'll try to play first. This hand's not great, but I believe it is a keep. This guy might get to do a decent amount of damage before the game is over. We have to draw something pretty fine here, though. Didn't sideboard in anything or out anything that I care about. Renegade map. That's an odd one as well, I think. Showed him the forest. Continue to show him the forest. I have a potential turn 3 Glorybringer though. That's kind of cool. Just going to Fatal Push this guy. Oh, not a Fatal Push. Nice. So we get to attack next turn. Trying to decide whether I care about the Sheltered Thicket or not. Have to pump it up so that he can't just block. I don't think I'm going to play the Sheltered Thicket. I think I'm going to hold it for cycling. Alright, so he saw that card as well. Put another thread in play. Let's see what happens after his turn. So he's got an Evolving Wilds. And he gets another token. That's a pretty nice one. Alright, well, there's another Voltaic Brawler. Gotta get the music going again. There we go. Red, 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 red. Play you. Attack with all. I'm actually going to exert so he can't block. This exerting might be a little greedy, but I don't want him blocking my trampler. My trampler does a lot at the moment. So like if I draw like an improvise or an invigorated rampage, I'm lethal for a lot of things. Yeah, so he's got. Is this the big demon? That is in fact the big demon. Each opponent discards a card. So we'll discard this card. And if I show him 8 damage, he has to block. So we'll play this and this. Play this. No. Make this guy big enough that you have to block it. Because it'll do the full 8. I like opponent's deck. Opponent's got some spice in it. Paid 1. So I'm going to be dealing 5 damage to him. Him going down to 3. Any fling will win. The Glorybringer's lethal on the following turn. We've dealt with the Herald of Anguish. Like, he's got a lot of hurdles to jump through now. We've got 2 Tramplers on the ground. Like a Fumigate would be great. So he has to block the 8 or he's dead. We just hope he doesn't have a Fumigate. If he has a Fumigate, he would go back to 6 life. He'd gain 6 life and go back to 9. So we'd still have a couple of decent outs. We currently have 3 different lethal threats on the board and a servant that probably needs to get blocked. So he really needs something. What's our opponent's record? Because I like opponent's deck. I haven't played yet. I like his deck. I think it's pretty nice. So it's probably Fumigate if he needed a 5th land. It could be Angel of Sanctums. So if he angeled this, I attacked with a maul. He block. He's still dead if it's Angel. Has to be like Fumigate or Dusk. Dusk would be good as well. Fumigate would be rough, but he doesn't have anything going on. He doesn't have a stockpile. He doesn't have an Anointed. So, like, we could just draw like a Bristling Hydra or something and be in pretty fine shape. Alright, so that's a hidden stockpile. And that tapped a lot of his mana, so that's probably enough. Oh, that was a good one. So he's going to gain 1 life. And probably be dead. Because he's going to lose a blocker to the Glorybringer. Yeah, okay. Hello. Alright, well, let's run it back. We at least get a pity chest. Getting a pity chest makes the race smile. Thank you for following Bogart, Exculatories, and Chimpy. Appreciate it. If you guys care, you can follow my Twitter to see when I go live, or my YouTube to catch any of the replays or anything. I don't even know what mana it takes to sack it. So we're playing versus Aladdin. This hand's on the weaker side of hands. Well, we have our mana. I think we can do better. A mulligan. I think this hand's better. Pretty happy we mulligan now. I'm actually going to put that card on top. Just like play turn 2 brawler, turn 3 brawler, and hope it's enough. With blossoming defense as well, which might be relevant. I think Black, Green, and Teamer are going to be this deck's 2 hardest matches. Well, he's got his thing going on. Can we draw Harness Lightning? That's not a Harness Lightning. I kind of want to put these in the 2-drop slot in over serving in my teamer list. I think they do a lot of work. It's tapping 2 mana. It's taking a while, so it's probably, yeah, it's probably pretty. If he offered me to snake for a trade, I would have snap took it. I would have took it beyond fast. Do I want to pay the 1? Probably not. Like, I don't think he can block. I've found ramping to be very bad in Teamer in my limited amount of testing. I want to play this guy because he can't kill it on board. It takes his entire turn if he's just going to pump it up, and then I just get to bash with the Brawler again. He would lose his walking if he did that. I'm fine with all of that. Well, that's good. Hopefully he doesn't have another walking. Alright, he's got a glint. So that walking's a problem, and I really need to draw Harness Lightning. Man, we don't have really enough mana for that to matter. So, I believe I'm going to lead with this. That way I can give this guy trample this turn. And give him trample. Figure out what happens in a second. Alright, so he's going to take it all, I guess? Alright, well, I'll pump that one once. I'll pump that one twice. He's going to take 8. Getting closer to killing this guy. He went down to 8. So theoretically, if we drew a land, we could kill this guy. Let's see what he's got going on over there. That's not a land, so that makes things quite a bit more difficult. I'm going to attack with them all. I'll give one of my guys trample. Well, not to give that guy trample. This fling might steal this game. Gonna be kind of interesting to see. If he's got a fatal push, I probably can't win. If he's got a fling, I probably can. So he's going to take 3 here. Alright, well, I'll pump the brakes. Alright, he tapped his black mana. He tapped his black mana, folks. So if he tapped his black mana, I'm going to give this one the Blossoming Defense. Because if I targeted the untapped one, he could kill it. Yeah. Now that he tapped his black mana, he is. I was thinking about him being able to pump this to get 2 counters and have one fatal push mana left over if I went for the fling. Once the 2 black mana was tapped, we were lethal. Wasn't anything he could do about it when the black mana got tapped. But I, all right, so that worked. Fling still's another game, friends. All right, so we're gonna try the same thing we tried versus our last black green opponent. I do not know if this is correct, but it's the total. I'm gonna do the total conversion. Well, I mean, he didn't have the fatal push, I guess, but like. So I'm gonna do the full conversion. See what happens. I don't know if I'm supposed to take out flings, but like I feel like I can beat them on the board. Oh. This hand's aggressively mediocre, but he mulliganed, so the fact that he's mulliganing, I think this is a keep. I probably won't play this until turn 3, and I'll try to protect it with a blossoming defense. Unless I draw like some other type of threat as well. If I draw some other card, I might play it and just let him kill it and not care. Show him the mountain because I'm going to attune for a forest, I guess. Have more forests in the deck, or more green in the deck than not green. Yeah, but that first fling, man, it's worth the price of admission. So that's the Swampy showed us. That's his own long tusk cub. Still not drawn anything, so I have to protect. I have to try to protect my long tusk cub, I think. He's only down to 4 cards. I'm gonna try to play mine as a blocker, actually. Man, that's gonna look real foolish if I don't. Or if I do. Alright. I'll talk myself out of it. Playing the long tusk cub just seems kind of poor here. His long tusk cub's gonna go absolutely nuts. There's nothing I can do about it. Oh, and a winding constrictor and an Effer hub. This game is over, folks. We lose. Take a casual 6 this turn. Take a lot more than 6 the following turn. I don't have an out anymore. Alright, we'll just move on to the next game. Don't have an out. What's wrong with the music tonight? The music keeps messing up. On the draw, I'm actually thinking about bringing the flings back in because I think maybe I can pressure him, but I'm just not going to. So we just got to try to get on the board a little bit quicker. This hand's fine. Yeah, this hand's fine. We're going to Effer Hub for a forest on turn 1. That way I can game trail and play either this or this on turn 2, depending on what. Depending on if like he mulligans and stuff. Probably just going to be this, so I can play this on 3. But I mean, if he goes like the 3 or 4 cards or something ridiculous, I would take the greedy line. We tap you for that. We tap you for green. We use you. I'm going to go get another forest. Pretty sure I said a mountain a second ago, but I'm definitely getting forest. So, did he scratch to the top or bottom? I wasn't paying attention. He put on top, so that's pretty good. Play you. Play you. Let's see what he plays on 2. Which is nothing. He's going to fatal push my guy. Well, we got a massive potential cub coming out. We're 1 mana off from being able to cast a Glorybringer, and we can play a Bristling Hydra next turn, providing he doesn't have any type of counterspell. So that's a Winding Constrictor. Hopefully he just tries to use a Fatal Push right now. He did not. Makes me a little sad. Going to attack now, as opposed to playing the Hydra, because if I have to save this guy from a Fatal Push, I'll still have mana to play a Brawler, and if I don't have to save him from a Fatal Push, I can play the Bristling Hydra post-combat. I lose a point of damage that way, but I'm less worried about losing the point of damage than I am keeping all the creatures in play. So go ahead and pump this guy up 1. I'm not pumping it up 2. Alright, I guess I am pumping it up 2 since he didn't do anything. Sure. So now I have a kind of interesting decision. He tapped a black mana and untapped it. I think it's still just better to play this guy and let this guy die if need be. This thing's good enough anyway. He can't kill this thing this turn, so I don't have to worry about that. So I got 2 pretty good threats here, but he has a Hissing Quagmire that's got Death Touch. A Rish Kana into Virtus Gearhulk would be bad, but we could untap and find a Glorybringer still. Alright, so he's going to attune. So he definitely will have mana to play Virtus Gearhulk or whatever he wants. So what are we doing? Tapping 1 black? Tapping 2 for a Walking Ballista. Okay. Walking Ballista does some things on this board. I know, I'm talking about the following turn. Supreme Will is going to be nice. Well, I'm pretty sure I just attack now. Try to figure it out in a second what happens with the blocks. So he's willing to block there. And take 4. Okay, well, I guess that's good for me. So we have a Brawler, and he's untapping into the Gearhulk turn, which is his best turn. He's going to have some pretty big threats over there if he has the Gearhulk in hand. If he doesn't have the Gearhulk in hand, we're in pretty reasonable shape, I think. Well, find out the hard way what we're doing. We'll give this guy trample. Sure. Yes. Give my one guy trample. So he can kill any one of my threats he wants. But they all have 4 power, which is pretty nice here. What are we looking over here? Green, really sad. Supreme Will looks good. And blue shell. Yeah, Supreme Will is just fantastic. So he's willing to let this guy die for the price of this guy. I guess I'm fine with that. He still takes 4. I think our opponent's actually playing around, trying to do his best to play around the fling this game. I think the fling that we showed him game 1 might have been enough to kind of seal this in a manner. So Catacomb Sifter is another good card. And he tapped out. So he's, again, not going to have a very good block. Go ahead and play this prior to combat. Get the fling will definitely get them scared. I still don't know who the fat man who loves me is, by the way, because there's a lot of fat men that love me. And I honestly can't blame the fat men for loving me. Exert this guy. Kill this one because he's got to block both anyway, and he doesn't get a scry if I do it in this manner. And give my guy trample. Opponent is definitely playing scared after the fling. So if opponent somehow can deal with all of the threats on the board, we still have another Gear Hulk in the hand. Alright, well. Wayne, the only one that matters. Fair enough, fair enough. You're not even my biggest fat friend. Smashing for another round. 5-0 hype? Can we get there? It'd be nice. The only reason I'm even playing this stream is because my stream earlier was so cruddy. We had 2 opponents go all the way to time. We had a small argument. We had 2 other opponents skip or concede in spots that weren't over. So I decided I was about 5 ticks away from building this deck. Let's have some fun. And this deck is not disappointing. This deck is very fun. We'll keep this hand even though it seems marginal. I probably should say it again. You know, it's worth following my Twitter and stuff if any of you guys care. I post all the deck lists that I play, and every time I go live on Twitter, the dash deck list command even works. In the chat, well, this is going to go miserably for me, I think. Do I have the 1 turn to hold up the cub? Probably. I probably have the turn. Play the Effort Hub in case he's playing Thalia. Also, I post all of the videos from the streams on YouTube. At some point, there will be I do not play Magma Spray in the sideboard. I think this deck is tuned to beat the black-green decks and the mono-white decks. So go ahead and go to Instep and then Cycle. There's only 4 removal spells in this deck. So it's going to be kind of difficult. I don't say impossible, but I'll say difficult. If there's any way to win this game, it's going to be stealing it with that thing. Probably won't even save this guy. Not going to save this guy, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not going to save that guy. The mono white deck felt incredible. I loved that match. I'm a big fan of the mono white deck. Again, playing the effort hub because he could be playing. Yeah, I feel like this deck's going to be kind of weak to the aggro decks. We have the blossoming defense now. Hopefully he doesn't have a second removal spell. He does have a second removal spell. Hopefully he doesn't have a third removal spell. Third removal spell would be very bad here for me. Oh, he's got a third removal spell. What do you do, folks? Hopefully he doesn't have a fourth removal spell. If he's got a fourth removal spell, we lose. If he doesn't have a fourth removal spell, we have some chance. If he doesn't have a fourth removal spell, we attack for about 1,000,000. Approximately. I don't think it's worth blocking. Like, he could have Chandra and kill me. He could have Soren and kill me. He could have a removal spell and kill me. The Heart of Kirin doesn't kill me, though. That doesn't kill me. Alright. So, unless that last card in his hand's a fatal push, we got him. In case he's got something I'm not thinking about, I'll go ahead and get the additional 2 energy. Don't need to fling, just need him not to have a fatal push. Go ahead and let him block. Target creature gets +4/+0. Target creature gets +4/+0. Yeah, just have we gotta have him. I keep saying fatal push, but he doesn't even have a way to sack now. It's also more than 36. It's 72 or something. Yeah, it's 72. Yeah. The push wasn't active when he cast the heart. I don't know why I kept saying push. I said if he doesn't have to push about 35 times in a spot where he can't have a push. So the Harness Lightnings obviously are going to have to come in. The Manglehorns are going to come in. I'm not actually sure what else we should do here. The Glorybringers are probably good enough to come in, but if he's playing if he's playing Archangels, the Glorybringers are actually considerably worse. The Glorybringers aren't particularly good versus Heart of Kirin either. I like them a lot more on the play because if they tap out for derp, I'll spit it out in a second. If they tap out for a Gideon, you can kill a token plus the Gideon if you're on the play. I don't think that I'm going to be doing much comboing. So I got a feeling that like these larger lives and stuff aren't particularly good. The Pummelers don't seem good in the match either. The Trackers seem better, but I just don't know if our deck's set up to actually beat their deck. So I'm going to need to get rid of some of this stuff. I'm going to keep the Fling in because I think I'm going to need to try to gimp them. I think I'm going to sideboard out the larger than lives. I want the ones that can give 2 different things plus 2/0 and trample. And I think I'm going to sideboard out one of these. I think the Trackers are better than Flings. I'm probably going to bring the Flings. I'm probably going to bring the Pummelers and the Glorybringers back in on the play, I think. Well, this hand's slow. All my hands are slow, though. Alright, I'm going to mulligan it. My hand's too slow. Alright, this hand's much better. Put that on top of the library. Go get a mountain. Yeah, this hand's much better. I'm glad I mulligan now. It's hard for me to mulligan when I have castable spells and mana, but like, sometimes it's just right. That's one of the things that I've struggled with a lot. I think Voltaic Brawler is a better attacker and a card that I would prefer to get Magma Sprayed. So I'm just go ahead and play him first in case there's a Magma Spray and not really care. Well, that was a pretty good draw for us. I'm going to attack pre-combat because I don't want to give him any idea what's in our hand. Don't care if I spend the 1 energy. If he's got the Fatal Push, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, Manglehorn to Heart. I messed up. I should have played the Effer Hub there in case that he had Thalia Kafar. That was a small play mistake. I should have played the Effer Hub to play around that other thing. Well, I'm going to attack a Gideon with both of these. I don't get particularly good attacks, but that's fine. You can like trade those for this, and Gideon goes to 1, which is fine because we're playing a Bristling Hydra. Okay, well, the Gideon's going to take 2, and both of my things are, well, not both of my things are going to live, but that's a better block for him, I guess. So now we get to play either the Hydra or another Brawler and a Lone Tusk Cub. I think I'm going to go with the Brawler and the Lone Tusk Cub to have more ways to pressure the Gideon. Because this Lone Tusk Cub will be big enough to survive like an Avacyn now. Well, if he doesn't have an Avacyn, he doesn't have a Fumigate. The question is, am I going to play around... Am I going to play around Fumigate or not? Do I play around Fumigate or not? This is what I'm considering now. So if I attack with everything, he can make this a blocker and like block Fatal Push. He would lose this to the Blossoming Defense, so I think it's safe to save the Hydra to post-combat. Yeah. So I think it's safe to save the Hydra to post-combat. And depending on how he blocks will decide whether I even play the Hydra. Like, there's a non-zero chance that I might not play the Hydra this turn, depending on how he plays his turn. Yeah, definitely give it Trample. So I think he has to have a Fatal Push. I don't... Because of the Blossomy defense, I don't think there's a card that lets him save the Gideon. Well, not a card that he would be reasonably playing anyway. The Blossoming defense was a really good draw there because the Blossoming defense probably kills the Gideon. Alright. Well, I guess I'm not going to play the Hydra then. play around, fumigate a little bit. Still has 4 cards in his hand. Like, that's a lot of cards. Let's see what he's got planned now. He could have a lot of good cards from here. Like, Avacyn's a great draw from here. Would like to draw a Harness Lightning. We've not drawn very many Harness Lightnings tonight at all. Sorin's a reasonable draw here, but Sorin is going to get blanked by the Blossoming Defense, probably. So he's trying to kill this with the Sorin, which means I'm just going to go ahead and save this with the Blossoming Defense. The second Blissing Hydra means I'm just going to slam. I'm going to attack the Sorin with this because it tramples over that, and I'm going to attack both of them at his face. I'm also going to go ahead and play the Bristling Hydra pre-combat, I think, to deal an extra damage if he doesn't block the Lone Tusk. So attack his face, attack his face, attack the Sorin. If he doesn't block this, I'm going to deal an extra point of damage. So he doesn't have Fumigates. He's in a super bad spot. Whoops. Completely ignore the fact that I didn't make my guy 2-2. Because that was horrible of me. It didn't matter. Actually ended up saving us a point of damage. Terrible play mistake ended up being correct play. Terrible, terrible play mistake ended up saving us a point of life. So you have another Fumigate? 2, 3, 4. It's another Gideon. Oh, any way to give our guy trample kills the Gideon. That kills the Gideon too. So go ahead and kill that thing. Guess I'm gonna go ahead and play the Lone Tusk Cub here. It there's a potential of a lot of extra damage if he doesn't have a second Fumigate. Do you know I didn't know I was starving till I tasted you? I will not play the tracker. The board's good enough. There's no reason to play the tracker. Yeah, I'm not going to fear a second Fumigate. I mean, I won't play the tracker into a third or to a second Fumigate because I'm not getting any. I'm not getting any value out of the clue. If I had a land, I would play it and not care. He's only got one card in hand. I'm willing to do one more. I want to keep 2 spells up for the Bristling Hydra just in case. This also lets me kill him next turn through a potential Shambling Vent. I don't want to go below 2 ways to save the Hydra though. So any card in the deck's a good draw here. A land's a fine draw, a Glorybringer's a fine draw, a Harness Lightning's a fine draw. Anything that gives my guys trample are fine draws. Blossoming Defense is a fine draw. So what's he got? He's going to activate the Shambling Vents and he's going to block the big guy. He's going to go up to 10, so I'm not lethal. I can only do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's fine. It's going to end up taking down to 6. Still just gonna hold the tracker. There's no reason to play into the fumigate, and he needs multiple spells to even beat the board. If he needs multiple spells to beat the board, there's absolutely no reason to play another card. We'll go ahead and play this in case we need the energy. He's got 2 cards in hand. They have to be pretty fantastic for him to win. So he's willing to take 5 from this guy. I guess he's got a removal spell for that guy. And the Blossoming Defense is just going to win. Might as well make my guy big enough to live, even though I think it's irrelevant. So he's at 6. This should be enough. Okay, it's enough. He didn't have anything, and there wasn't any spell that I could think of. Alright, well. Yeah, to cut the ribbon, but to cut the ribbon didn't do anything versus my board. My hand was insane. But yeah, 5-0 Dino. So the bonus stream turned out being great. Whee! 16 treasure chests, 180 treasure points. Pretty happy we logged back on to do the second queue. This deck's pretty fun, and I'm not just saying that because we won. Like I had a lot of fun playing the deck. It I don't know how good it is, but like every spell in it did what I wanted it to do. I'm not sure that I want these in the sideboard. I think the blue-white decks and the blue-red decks and the teamer control decks, all of those decks have just so many ways to kill a 3-power creature anyway that like I don't know if it's even good versus them. It may be, it may not be. I wouldn't mind to have a couple magma sprays in the sideboard. What? I don't know if we sideboarded correctly at all, but I do know that what felt like the conversion board versus the black-green deck was pretty insane. Pummeler was very impressive. I really enjoyed the Pummeler. Had a lot of fun. But anyway, that's the third league I played tonight. So I guess I'm done for the evening. I'm gonna save the treasure chests and open them all in a video later. Or open them all at the same time. But if you like this, if you like listening to me run my mouth, follow me on Twitter, see when I go live, see the deck list, blah blah blah. There's a link down below, and I have a YouTube channel somewhere. Yeah, the YouTube channel. I post all the videos, and there'll be more content coming up if I don't get lazy, but who knows if I get lazy. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and host the same guy that I hosted earlier. He's playing a draft right now, which I don't typically like hosting drafts, but I think this guy's pretty good. Don't be intimidated by his super deep voice. And thanks for watching. I'll most likely be back tomorrow. Thanks for coming.